Uh-oh.
That was the Crony. It's no longer going to calculate speed for us.
It's the Excalibur. It's an older model. Matrix 355. So it's supposed to be 355 feet per second. That's what's
supposed to be. The Achilles heel of the Benjamin Airbow. Welcome back to Anything Outdoors with Steve. Today is round 2 of the Benjamin Airbow. Last time I was out here, I attempted shooting it, but then I forgot the air chuck. So if you don't have one of these, you are not shooting. You can't pick this up at any store. If you don't have it, you're just SOL. It's kind of like having a rare caliber firearm on a hunting trip and forgetting your ammo. Nobody else is going to have it. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this thing up and start shooting. All right, round 2. Get that on there good. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and charge this up. And we just need to get it up to 3,000 PSI. So I'm going to start opening the valve a little bit here. All right, and then we purge the air out of the hose. There we go. Now you can disconnect that and pull your chuck out. Be sure not to lose it. One improvement Benjamin could make on this is having a permanently attached air chuck that you don't have a chance of losing. They can have a protective cap over it and just have this installed right in the front and maybe have the air gauge on the side built into the air tank here. But that would be a permanent solution to their problem, to where you don't have to worry about losing this piece, because no matter what, as soon as you're done filling it up, you have to put it somewhere and hope it doesn't fall out or hope you don't lose it. All right, so let's get to shooting. All right, let's see where we're hitting there. 438.7 was the speed at the target at 30 yards. And as far as I'm aware, nobody's ever taken speeds at the target. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I have yet to look for a video. And the next thing to do is see what our arrow drop is. So I'm gonna aim at the target right above center. And I've got to stop talking so I'm not shaking so much. It dropped 2 inches. This is a second shot, 50 yards, and I am aiming for the center of the target to verify our arrow drop again. And make sure I don't need to make fine-tune adjustments. I'm still waving around a lot. All that coffee.
It's old age.
Mm-hmm. We have backed up to 75 yards. I am going to aim for that top diamond target again. The last shot showed us error over to the chronograph. We will see if this one can catch it.
Well, it took longer.
I think it's hitting about 2 inches low from where I aimed. I did drop it down just before I pulled the trigger, so I'm not sure how much of that is me. Let's go ahead and run another shot down there. Make sure tip is tight. There you go. Aiming for the circle, center. I pulled a little left. And that one did not like what it did.
Sounds like a lower thump.
It was a lower thump, for sure. I'm wondering if I didn't have it seated all the way. We're still above 2,000. Okay, she's on there all the way. Unless it hit something in the way, but...
Uh-oh.
That was the Chrony. -1 arrow and a chronograph.
It doesn't look very good.
It's no longer going to calculate speed for us. Here's just the tip. Oh man, that's in there. Okay, well, we've got a shelf decoration. Maybe some lucky subscriber is going to get a chronograph. Well, I've been wanting a new chronograph for a while. The Doppler chronograph was on my list to prevent, my gosh, the Doppler radar chronograph's been on my list to prevent exactly this because it sits back with the shooter and it's supposed to be able to track all the way down range so you can calculate your speeds as it's going away from you as well. I guess this forces the investment, doesn't it? Okay, and then letting out the air. Okay, let's try it again. So how high should I aim this time? Just to be safe, I'm gonna aim just at the very top of the target. Okay, so I'm gonna aim just at the top. And it is dropping low. 75 yards, we are about a 2-foot drop. I pulled a little right and it's still low right. About a foot low. Let's try another one. This time without pulling it. This one's not staying down.
It's different length.
I think we lost our retention device. All right, let's go take a look at the last arrow, I guess. Maybe that's why the last arrow shot so low. Looks like we found the problem. So the end of the cap had actually stayed inside, and so it just came right off the arrow. We'll try it again. And this goes in my pocket so I don't lose it and I can fix it up later. Okay, so that was better. Okay, torn fletching with another 4 inches raised. The turkeys every time. It hit about the same, but it flew further to the right. I used the bottom of the crosshair without adjusting the scope from 50 yards. I can still shoot the 75 without even having to adjust the scope. So we're back up to 50. Somebody suggested that we should go back to 50 just to see its accuracy.
I think it was your old cod, your father had suggested
Cameraman. Okay, here we go. 3, 2. It's still hitting low. Oh, let's take another shot just to verify. Torn fletching, here you come. Now, of course, I have to double second guess myself. Is it because I miscounted? I don't know. Did I miscount when I was adjusting?
I don't know.
Maybe I counted 20 off. In 3, 2. Yep. Both of them. Okay, let's try this again. And of course our speed's gonna start dropping off here pretty soon. There we go, that's better. It's now 2.5 inches low. Full tank again, aiming for the same center, but I better aim for the target to the left of center, which is a small dot, so I don't stack my arrows. Yeah, that one definitely went in further. So our speed is dropping off a bit. There we go. Because there was very little drop between 30 and 50, and now at 50 yards, I'm fairly low. But then another 25 yards back, 2 foot low. It's right right, and I think maybe about an inch low from where I was aiming. Okay, I'm gonna aim for the target on the right side this time of the circle. Of the center, I should say. So there's a small circle on the right. If I can stop moving around, because I'm moving too much. Okay, so I'm hitting just a little right. So I need to go a little left, because the other two were just a little right as well. Back at 30 yards. And I'm going to aim for the bottom row in case it shoots substantially high. Bottom row center diamond in 3. And I might have pulled that one a little bit to the right there substantially, but I'm going to do another shot just to be sure. So torn fletching, here you come. So I'm going to just aim for the center since we're not going to shoot over the top. Okay, so that is, my holdover is on my scope, just 2 hash marks, which would be, I don't know what it would be. I mean, it's, if I measure it, it's probably 4 inches. That one I pulled to the right. So we are hitting 4 inches higher at 30 yards than 50. And why we got different results the first time is kind of confusing. Unless being just brand new arrows, they shot better. I don't know. Okay, well, let's go back to 75. We're sacrificing the torn fletching arrow. I'm just going to attempt a holdover guesstimation because I don't know precisely where to hold over. Yeah, so this time I made adjustments from 30 to 50, and it was quite a bit of an adjustment between 30 and 50. So we had a 4-inch drop now from 30 yards to 50 yards, where before we didn't. So I'm gonna hold over 2 foot. That was a lot higher than expected, which makes me glad I aimed for the center target. Yeah. So I am now at the top row. So if that was 4, so I needed to go up 3 major hash marks. So I've got a minor, major, minor, major. So I've got to go up 3 major hash marks, roughly. We're about 2100 PSI. Much better. So now we're another 10 yards back. It's at the very end of the reticle line there. So at 100 yard, my holdover is going to be beyond what the scope allows without adjusting from 50. So 85 yards is the max. That's what I'm going with. And I'm kind of curious what the arrow penetration is into this target. I don't have a medium to determine what that equates to in lethality. Unless somebody wants to stand down there and see
how far the penetration is in flesh.
Yes. Any volunteers?
I don't see any around here right now, but I mean, I'm holding the camera, so it can't be me.
Oh, the camera has a tripod. I've got a solution.
Yeah, but it's awful wiggly on the ground here.
Well, I can put it on this table.
It'd be too close to you when you're shooting.
I can back up the table and then see. I've got solutions. All right, let's go.
I got excuses.
Let's go look at the arrow penetration and see what we got. This shot was 85 yards. And
about 6 inches.
Yeah, roughly. Let's see. Yeah, almost 7.
I can give more than 6 inches of penetration.
If I do it twice, I can. We are at 90 yards now. I was aiming right here and a couple inches higher, technically, at the very bottom of that reticle. just as the reticle comes to a point there. I was aiming the very bottom of that reticle up here, and it shot another 6 inches lower at 90 yards. And we still have pretty good penetration.
About 5 inches more.
I'd say it's still 6. Yeah, it's about the same. And I did pull a little bit, but I don't think I pulled that much. So I still need to adjust the scope a little more left.
But at 90 yards,
that was 90 yards.
Yeah, 90 yards, though, just a little movement makes a big difference.
Oh, plus this is the torn fletching. I think keeping it targeted in at 50 is a very reasonable number. So the holdover I've got at 90 yards is now at the very bottom of the reticle. I'm still holding over another 6 inches just to get it to hit on target. So it was the fletching. So I'm a little left of center on the bullseye there. I'm gonna call it at 90 yards as far as reasonable accuracy for the scope setup, targeted at 50 yards. Now if I readjust for 75, of course your arrow drop is substantial between 50 and 75, and it's again substantial from 75 to 85, and from 85 to 90. I'm getting a pretty good arrow drop, quite a bit with each increment going back, even 5 yard increment, quite a bit of drop there. So my holdover is 6 foot from bullseye at 90 yards. Thank you for joining us on the Benjamin Airbow. So that failure on one of the arrows was an arrow issue where this little plastic keeper came off, and it actually caused the trajectory of the arrow and the depth that it went into the target to be affected a lot. I was kind of surprised. So I'm not sure. I believe the function of this little plastic ferrule here is just to keep it into the detent of the airbow. But as far as I'm aware, that's its sole function as a detent holder, because it is, if you look close, you can see it's beveled down towards the end there. And that bevel is, I believe, what holds the detent in place. But when that came off, it affected the trajectory of the arrow quite a bit. I wouldn't be afraid to hunt with it. Absolutely not. This is way more accurate at distance.
I wouldn't attempt shots like that with my crossbow.
When I moved back from 30 yards to 50 yards, I was getting very little arrow drop between the two distances until later. So I think it was because the arrows were new. So this being a new arrow, I had probably about an 8-inch less drop on this new arrow than what I did on the older arrows. So I have a feeling if you shoot these more, it's going to start having more and more drop as it's coming down. You're going to have more air leak past. And so this new arrow was the only one that stayed almost right where I was aiming. The rest of them dropped down quite a bit. So keep that in mind. If you're going to be hunting with the airbow, be sure to run the arrows quite a bit before you trust that that's where it's hitting. I am going to call this usable to easily 50 yards for hunting. Very easily. 75, no problem. 85, sure. 90, start opening up. So right there at the 90 yard range, you're able to make a fairly consistent shot, so you should still be able to hunt with it. And I'm getting really good depths with them. I would say well within the kill zone of penetration. I mean, if you're getting 9 inches on that target, I'm getting consistently 9 inches regardless if I'm at 30 yards or 50 or 90. That's pretty good. All right, so I think that wraps it up. If you like the Benjamin Airbow video, be sure to leave a thumbs up. What do you think about the Benjamin Airbow? I'm kind of putting it towards that novelty. It is very useful, very tactical tool. I think it would be definitely usable for hunting. Your standard crossbow, you're usually closer distances anyway. So if you're able to pull a 90-yard shot with this thing, that's impressive. And like I say, consistently, I feel like I could hit that same zone within 4 inches if I'm trying to hold steady, if I've got a rest. Offhand, I'm going 50 yards or less just because I got a little bit of shake there. But leave in the comments, what do you think? Thanks for joining.
Is it possible to dry fire without an arrow in it?
Why would you?
by accident. That's
Ooh,
how
no.
that's how it happens.
Oh, accidents happen?
Mm-hmm.
No, never.
Accidents
Unless
are
you hit
never
the-
on purpose.
Unless you hit the ground with an arrow and your chronograph. But those weren't accidents. Those were intentional for the video. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,